In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to add an office note to a client profile. So an office note is basically just a general administrative type of note. It's not a therapy note, it's not a treatment plan, or anything having to do with your client's personal health information. It's more of just a general note to be able to add to the profile for safekeeping. It could have to do with their appointment scheduling, could have to do with a financial matter. And if you're a solo practitioner, it's just a good way to add generic type of notes that you don't want commingled or intermingled in your therapy notes section. And if you're a group practice, this is a great tool for sharing notes about a client with other people in your practice, whether they be actual clinicians, non-clinicians, billing people, or just general administrative type people. So I'm logged into TherapyZen. I'm looking at a client profile right now, and the first tab is Office Notes, you see. And I don't currently have any Office Notes on this client, so we're going to go ahead and add a couple here and see how they work. So to add an Office Note, I just click this button here, New Office Note. This will present the Office Note form. And the first thing I want to do is pick the type of note that I want to add to this profile. So I've got some choices here, an administrative note, a billing note, medical, or scheduling. So for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and pick an administrative note, and we'll just put some sort of generic note into this client's profile that I want to keep for safekeeping on this record. Okay, so I went ahead and added just a generic note. This is just a note reminding me that this particular client is moving to a new home, and we want to try to get his new contact information as soon as he gets settled in, and we can update his record to make sure his contact information is accurate. So once we've got the note completed, we do have an option here to say that this is a high priority note. In this case, I'm just going to say that this is a regular note, not a super high priority that I need to be reminded of every time I see this particular client record. And then down at the bottom there is a message there just letting you know who can see these notes. So like I said, if you're a group practice, anybody with access to this client record will be able to see this note. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Note. Okay, and you can see that the Office Note has been created. You can see there is a note type is demonstrated here. I've got the date it was created and who created it. So for group practice, that'll be very handy if you want to backtrack and see who actually created the note and when it was created. And here's the body of that note. I can edit that note if I need to, or delete it at any time. So if we were to get this client's updated contact information, I would go ahead and delete it at that time. So now that we've created just kind of a generic note, let's go ahead and create a high priority note and see what that looks like and see how that's different. So to do that, I'm just going to come back up here and click New Office Note. That'll bring up the Office Note form once again, and this time I'll select a billing note. So let's pretend that we've got some important billing information or billing matters we need to take care of for this client. So I'm going to go ahead and generate a note here. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created a note here. It's a billing note for this client, just as a reminder that this client's credit card has expired and we want to try to get that resolved as soon as possible. So for this example, I am going to go ahead and mark this as a high priority note. So let me go ahead and check that box. And when I click Save here, we'll see exactly how that differentiates from a regular Office note. So let me click Save Note. Okay, so now my high priority note has been created, and right away you notice a difference. This one shows up in red. It's much more important looking than the regular Office note, which just kind of has this yellow background. And another thing you notice as well is up here in the Office Notes tab, there's a little exclamation. So anytime there is a high priority note, this icon will display, and it's always visible. So as you kind of tab through this client's information, we try to make it unmistakable that, hey, there's something high priority here in the Office Notes that needs to be addressed. And if I come back to that tab, that high priority note will always be the one shown at the top. And if you do have multiple high priority notes, they'll always be displayed here at the top of this tab. So that's a very quick walkthrough of Office Notes, how you create those Office Notes, and how that high priority flag will differentiate that particular note from a regular general Office note that you add to a profile. So once again, these are just for general administrative type things that you don't want to put in the therapy notes section.